You learn the formula and it'll change your life. That is the tiny, tiny, tiny. It's the tiny. It's the getting up and getting in your word first before you grab your phone. It's the tiny. It's the speaking life over your babies when you want to go off of them. It's the tiny. It's the serving your husband when you feel like you need to have your cup filled. It's the tiny. And it's so tiny that you can't see that it'll make a difference and it'll reap you a harvest. How many of you know Coach Rowe? Okay. All right. Put some fire in the chat if you know my sis and best friend, Coach Rowe. Coach Rowe is the #1 health motivator. Okay? Play with it if y'all want. She's the #1 health motivator. And my Coach Rowe was teaching me about the human body because she said all y'all sick, honestly. She said only about 3 people on this call healthy. If all y'all had to take an assessment, we would all fail. Okay, according to Coach Rowe. So Coach Rowe is always trying to teach us how to live healthier, how to have a healthy body. So this is what she shares about having a healthy body. It's called the cell theory. The cell theory is where she says this is how the body works. She says cells make up tissues, tissues make up organs, organs make up the organ system, and the organ system makes up the organism, which is you. What Rowe is explaining when she's trying to get people to have a revelation of why they're sick is that the only way you can impact the cell for it to be healthy or unhealthy is what you feed it. See, if you're feeding it Chick-fil-A, and if you're feeding it Burger King, and you're feeding it pizza and wings and a cold brew, if you're feeding it that, then it's gonna make an imperfect cell, which is gonna make imperfect tissues, which is gonna make imperfect organs, like your heart and your lungs, which is gonna make an imperfect organ system. So now you have high blood pressure, or maybe you have infections, and where you respiratory and all of that. That's all a system. And then you yourself is going to be sick. You yourself is going to have all these medical bills. Why? Because of what you're putting into the cell, because of the tiny, tiny, tiny cell. The cell is what you have the control over, because you can feed the cell something healthy or unhealthy. And then people come to her and they say, I eat healthy all the time. I don't understand what you're talking about, and I'm still sick. And guess what Rose says? She calls them a liar. But you kind of be thinking that, Ro. She trying to act like she don't say that, y'all. Okay, she kind of be thinking that. I took her. Okay, she kind of be thinking that. Why? Because God's signature design is undefeated. This is his signature design. This is his brand. Okay, this is his brand. So by God's signature design, it's impossible for you to take his signature design, which is fruits and vegetables and water, and then you take his signature design and put it in his signature design and get a body that's unhealthy. She says it's impossible. So I need you to tell me what you eat that you think is healthy, so I could expose to you how you lying. And they say, well, I get up and have my oatmeal, have my yogurt, have me a little cup of coffee. I have got to have a little cup of coffee. Got to put a little creamer in it. So she woke up that day and gave your body all sugar, and you wonder why you're sick. What is Rowe trying to teach us? That is the tiny, tiny, tiny. It's the tiny decisions that impact the tiny cell that is causing you to have a $50,000 medical bill. Why am I showing you this in the human body? So you can recognize that this is God's signature design. We all agree that he made the body. And that's the reason why people run up and get done up by Rowe, because the minute they spend 7 days with her, all of a sudden they don't have the disease anymore. And they go, it's a miracle. And Rowe say, it's undefeated. It's his signature design to take the tiniest decisions and completely change your life. Okay. Come on, y'all. Let's keep going, y'all. We still got some stuff. We got some ground we got to cover. So I said to myself, okay, I said, self, even though I was studying for this, I had this bonus revelation on top of the already revelation that I have about seeds. I said, so I like to always say multiplication, like the seed multiplies. But that would look like this. That would look like the seed. This would look like the seed multiplying. But if I had to be honest, the seed doesn't multiply. The seed transforms. The seed, as tiny as it is, it transforms to something that's unrecognizable from the seed, which is why we sometimes don't realize that it's the seed that's doing all the work. that the seed and the soil is what's doing all the work. So when you make tiny decisions, you don't always recognize them in their transformed state because it doesn't look the same. So you don't see the tiny words of telling your preteen that they always mess everything up showed up in its transformed state as them getting fired from jobs and them getting kicked out of school and them having a trail of failed relationships because you planted the seed and don't realize that's the harvest that you spewed out of your mouth on your baby. Because it don't look like the seed. The girl don't call and say, yeah, you told him that, he screwed everything up. So it was, God let me know 45 days in, I needed to break up with him. It don't work like that. The seed transforms. So you don't see the tiny devotion that is going to transform you into where you now are delivered. You're now going to make different decisions. You're now going to just make small little character corrections. And those character corrections are going to pour down into your baby. And they say, mom's always showing her commitment to stuff. I'm going to always show my commitment to stuff. And now your grandbabies always show their commitment to stuff because of tiny, tiny decisions. But you don't always notice it because the seed transforms. It doesn't look like a multiplication of seed, baby. It looks like a harvest. You don't see tiny decisions in your marriage as what it's going to look like transform right before your eyes. Seeds don't multiply, they transform. I want you to write that down. Here's the bad news. Seeds don't multiply, they transform. Here's the good news. Seeds don't multiply, they transform. So if you tell me, if I get in right standing, if I learn how to read the fine print of the promises of God, the seed I plant when I read the fine print, it won't multiply, it will transform into something that will overtake my land. So let's explore this in scripture, okay?
5 years ago, God started talking to me about partnerships. Deuteronomy 32:30 tells me that one can chase 1,000, but two can put 10,000 to flight. And the Hebrew definition of flight means to cause to disappear. It is with that revelation that I said, God, your math, it disrupts. It breaks the rules. It's mind-boggling. It's supernatural. This is not a book you read alone.
I'm just trying to get you in line with this is his signature design. Let's look at it. Proverbs 22:6, his signature design. Here it is. His logo right here is seed work. Train up a child in the way that he should go. That's seed work. And when he is old, he will not depart from it. That's the harvest. Signature design. Signature design it with your words. Death and life are in the power of the tongue. That's seed work. When you control what you say, and they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof. That's the harvest. Whatever you love to say, you better love to see. You better love to live in it. You better love for it to be your reality. You better love for it to show up in your life. And also this, you better love for it to show up in the lives that you speak ill into, especially if you're in a place of authority, especially if you're a teacher or a mother or a father. In heaven, you have an additional authority rank over that person's life. You better be careful what you say because you will see a harvest. Signature design, giving. But this I say, he which soweth sparingly shall also reap sparingly. And he which soweth bountifully shall also reap bountifully. Seed work. Knowledge. With his mouth, the godless man destroys his neighbor, but through knowledge are the righteous delivered. So you're telling me just if I just get this thing out, and Proverbs is where you can start. You want to know some knowledge, just basic principles that God says to live by. Start reading the book of Proverbs. You saying I could just read those and then if I process it good enough, I'll be delivered? I don't need Benny Hinn to slap me with his coat, okay? Or somebody to mail me some fake oil that's probably been blessed by a demon. You telling me I don't need to schedule an appointment with a deliverance minister? You telling me I could just through knowledge, I could be delivered? By something that has ailed me for 10, 20, 30 years? That's what it say. That's what it say, y'all. It's in our trust, siblings. Sin in life. For he that soweth, signature design, to his flesh shall so of the flesh reap corruption. So you continue to do what you want to do when you want to do it, and what you want to do when you want to do it, and what you want to do when you want to do it. Body said eat. Body said do this. Body said live in lust. You keep doing what you want to do, and then when you see corruption as your harvest, you say, now how did I get there? Because you keep sowing to your flesh, the same flesh he asked us to kill.